XRP whales are on the move, and altcoins are set for an explosion. XRP to the moon, baby. Let's get it. Question everything, trust nothing. Welcome to Debate Crypto. It's your boy, Crypto Keeper, and it is a fun day Monday. And they say Sunday Monday, we're going with Fun Day Monday because we've got your boy, Bill Noble, in the house. What's up, Bill?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
Super excited to be with you in person next week. We're going to be linking up at Consensus 2023. I'm excited about that. Hopefully they got some poppin' parties for us to go to, Bill. You know, you and I are the life of all the parties, so they're going to need us there.
No doubt.
Sure. They're going to need us there. So, Crypto fam, if you haven't already, smash that like. You know what time it is. If you're on mobile, just X out of the live chat. Boom, hit the like, come right back in. All right, as always, this episode is sponsored by Danger Close Alpha. So make sure that you get involved in the Discord. The website is dangerclosealpha.com. If you're not involved, we've got an event coming up next month. Lots of fun stuff happening. We're giving away some ETH. And yeah, if you want one of these vests, maybe we could talk about that too. All right, cool. Let me jump into the chat, say hello, and then we will get started. Let's see who was first today. Who was first? Oh, hey, Bill, one of your people. Steve J said redirected LFG. Looks like that redirect must have pushed him in here pretty quick. Glad to see you, Steve. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who else we got in the house? We have, it just scrolled back up. We've got Burke. We have got unforgettable name, as always, Green Day Prophets, Secret Soul Society. What's going on, brother? Edgar Parra. We have got Brett in the house. If you are new to the stream, if it's your first time here, make sure to let us know in the chat. I want to recognize you. Jimmy with the Stimmy. That's a great name. I like to recognize good names as well. Justin Eubanks as well. So welcome, everybody. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to be talking some XRP. We've got some stuff related to the SEC. As always, they're always in the spotlight, or put themselves in the spotlight, rather. So stick around. We'll dive into it. Let's take a look at the crypto market cap, and we will go from there. All right. So the overall crypto market cap is at 1.25 trillion with the T dollars. That's down 1.89%, but it's good to see at 1.25 trillion, and we're seeing downward action. So we've been moving up a lot lately. Bitcoin's at 29,549. It did not hold that 30K level. We'll see what that means as we talk to Bill here in just a little bit. Down 3.06%. ETH, though, still holding pretty strong. Up over 2K, almost 2,100 at $2,086. Like to see that. That's up almost 10% on the week. There's a lot of people calling for a big dump on Ethereum. I was one of the few people saying, no, I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll see. I've heard a little bit of chatter that there might be some more ETH moving outward, but we have not seen that yet. BNB at 340, XRP, we're going to be talking about that today. 51 cents, holding up over that 50 cent mark. That's good to see. Cardano's been pumping recently. It's at 43 cents. That's down about 3%, but up almost 12 on the week. So that's good to see. And then rounding out the top 10, we've got Solana at up 1.03%. Solana's been banging lately. Do you know, Bill, specifically, is there something that I missed? I never pay attention to Solana because half the time it's down, and I like to make fun of Solana. Is there something that's going on with Solana that's made it pump so hard? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the phone.
Oh, the Solana phone.
It's the Solana phone.
I did. Have you seen it? Have you seen one?
I have not, but conceptually, think about it. It's $1,400 for an iPhone. They may charge you with $1,000 for the Solana phone, but you have security, you have ZK rollups, probably privacy, and then they're going to airdrop you all kinds of stuff.
Nice,
right?
I have
people
not
carry. But
no, I was just gonna say I have not looked anything into that. You said people carry what?
No, people in the past have carried, they carried an iPhone and a BlackBerry, or an iPod and a BlackBerry for the longest time.
Yeah,
right.
Facts.
So the people will carry two devices if there's a value proposition.
if the value prop is there. No, I totally agree with you. I think it's been a while since people have been regularly doing that. Even with the when they came out with, so one of the things that I used to do is, and this is once this was made available. I had two phones before. You would see a lot of people where they had, oh, this is my business phone, this is my personal phone. And then what happened was they gave you the ability, there was these apps that came out, they gave you ability to basically have a virtual phone number. I still have one of those. If I want to give somebody access to me, but don't really want to give them, my straight up phone number, the virtual access. And so I think a lot of people, once they figured that out and they had these apps that were allowing people to do that, I think the two phones thing went away. But if we're going to get some cryptography involved and we're going to have some good things on the crypto side, I like it. So I can definitely get on board with that. I hope it does well. I'm never rooting against any particular crypto company. Again, they're always the butt end of the joke because of their issues, but maybe they'll do really well with this. I guess we will see as time goes by. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Let's kick it off, Bill. Talk to me about overall. So we just got out of the weekend.
Right.
Generally, crypto fam, if you're not around for Mondays, we get into altcoins. But I can't get into altcoins without kind of at least having a feel for the market as a whole. We're coming out of the weekend. So, Bill, can you kind of give me a broad overview of whether it's equities or whether it's Bitcoin in particular, kind of broad overview of what the market's looking like? And then we'll dive into some alts and a few news articles that I've got.
Absolutely. So the flavor of today is what's going to happen in the May Fed meeting. Right. So you know how we do this, buy the rumor, sell the fact. Well, I think what crypto does is they sell the rumor, and then as soon as the decision comes out, they buy the fact. Okay. The next meeting is May 2nd to May 3rd. This is the 30-year US bond, the bond long-term interest rates. Okay. Mortgages are pegged to this. This is a bullish triangle on the weekly chart. So you could have a breakout in long-term interest rates. People may just, freak out. There was some strong economic data this week on today. And of course, if you've been to the grocery store, you know that there's nothing stopping inflation at the moment.
That's a fact.
So the Fed may stick to its guns, and the Fed may say, we don't care what we break. We're going to hike rates. And the market may price that in advance of the event. So I'm thinking that means crypto can chill out.
Okay.
When you look at VIX, that's the fear index in equities.
Yeah.
Very low fear. Deutsche Bank says the lowest level of fear in 15 months. So we got greed and too much greed in crypto, maybe, and not enough fear in equities. And I'm guessing this is going to be your dip, either your range or your dip. Stocks, this is stock futures at resistance. Okay. And in Bitcoin, just to keep it brief, you got a DeMark 13 and a DeMark 9 top. DeMark is a quantitative system that helps you see when trends are just starting or just ending.
Yeah.
So this would lead to a consolidation phase, I think, in Bitcoin. Altcoins, this is total altcoin market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. Very enthusiastic breakout off the ETH merge, off the ETH Shanghai.
Yeah.
But maybe a little bit too enthusiastic. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to getting the actual breakout. That's actually one of the articles that I have pulled up. I kind of wanted to see if you kind of agree with some of this. So there's been a series of indicators that are setting up for this supposed altcoin explosion and a new Bitcoin all-time high. Now, this is a popular analyst you guys have probably heard about before, Tech Dev. So it says a popular crypto analyst says that multiple indicators are suggesting that the digital asset markets are gearing up for a rapid expansion to the upside. He comes in, shows a couple of the different charts. He says this happens before every all-time high setting Bitcoin move. Tech Dev also says the altcoin market is setting up for a big run based on historical patterns. Altcoins are now in the markup phase. So, Bill, you can see this well, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain this markup, correction, accumulation, markup, correction? Can you explain how this works?
Sure. So when you have accumulation, that's my cheesy phrase, the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Okay. Basically what it means is you'll have a crash, and then you'll have this accumulation phase that looks like, the market's just dead. Yeah. So it's down base. And then when it starts coming out again, that's when I think they call it accumulation. Like markup is the parabolic that everyone wants, but the fact is you have to have base and then accumulation
for that to
before
happen.
you can have markup.
Okay. So it looks like he is showing that right now. He was comparing it obviously to an older chart, but it looks to him like we are in that markup phase right here. So it says, according to TechDev, all charts appear to be following their market structures between 2016 and 2018, suggesting that multiple metrics are aligning to signal an explosion in the market. Sometimes patience is all you need. And he's got this broken down: the Bitcoin dominance, the altcoin market cap, the Dixie, obviously things that we all look at on a pretty regular basis to kind of give us the idea of what the overall market sentiment looks like. It says for the Dixie, the DXY, the analyst suggests that the dollar index appears to have topped out. This is what I want to ask you about, Bill. It says that it looks like the dollar index appears to have topped out, indicating that investors are starting to make their capital work in risk assets such as crypto. So for anyone that's newer in the space, Bill, or just somebody who doesn't pay enough attention to know something like this, why would the dollar index topping out indicate that people are maybe starting to or wanting to make their capital work in risk assets such as crypto? Why would they do that?
Okay, when the dollar tops out, several things can occur. If it has to do with kind of a loss of confidence in the United States or in the country in question for any currency, that's going to mean people are going to want to move from that currency into hard assets, which I believe includes commodities, which also includes crypto. Okay. The dollar rally last year was a giant myth based on the fact that, I don't know, the United States was unstoppable and we were hiking rates at this dramatic pace.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, I think the dollar's in trouble because demand for dollars to buy treasuries is way down. Now, if you're new, right, dollar down, crypto up is it's kind of a crypto Twitter rules to live by. What I think is underrated these days is that people have been talking about the demise of the dollar as the world's reserve currency and not enough about how much the dollar can go down, not enough about how commodities can go up, and maybe underestimating how high crypto would go after this Fed scare dip.
Yeah. So you're suggesting that people have talked about the dollar topping out, but they're not really talking about how much of a move it could make to the downside and what the results of that could look like. I mean, you're saying you could see that dollar down being a big time move on the dollar down. I think you've shown it before. Didn't we go down to like 60 cents or something like that back in, what was that, in the 80s maybe? Has it been that long?
Right. It has been. I can pull the quarterly chart up here.
Crypto fam, if you haven't already, smash that like. Make sure that you're following Bill, Crypto Noble. Bill, by the way, I was scoping you out a little bit earlier, just kind of checking in like I do with all of our guests. You're doing well, man. You are growing fast over here on YouTube. So congrats on that, man. Keep killing it, brother.
Hey, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we took out 3K followers and we're looking to do more.
Hell yeah.
All right. So back in 1985, they came up with something called the Plaza Accord, which is basically all the big economic countries in the West just said the dollar needs to be lower. Foreign exchange markets can sell with impunity and we're not going to stop you.
Okay.
So DXY went from 150 to 80 in very short order. Okay. Now, in this particular case, so a 40% drop in the dollar has occurred before.
That's wild.
Right? I mean, the dollar index, the world did not end with the dollar index at 84. Now, if you go to a weekly chart, okay, I just want to suggest two things. One, a 40% drop in the dollar would put DXY at like 60. And there's not enough people talking about DXY at 80, never mind 60. So let's talk about the unwind of the 2023 trade on the dollar index weekly chart. Let me just label this.
Yeah.
So on the way up, right, which of course coincided with crypto getting killed, right? The dollar took 16 weeks to go from 95 to 102.
Okay.
Okay. I would estimate that the dollar may take, 15 or 16 weeks to do exactly the same thing. In other words, high school physics, what goes up
to the
one
downside.
Way, that's right.
Okay.
So what goes up one way goes down the same way,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're looking at the possibility, if this whole down move takes 17 weeks, we're looking at July 10th. So by July 10th, part of my theory is buy in July and watch it fly. I hope that works.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think there could be a rally in May. But the point is this is going to get unwound. Like, I mean, this is basically up only. It's a weekly chart. So if it was up only on the way up, it's going to be down only on the way down. Okay. So
there's obviously contributing factors that play into that. Is there anything in particular that you're looking at that is suggesting, other than just history effectively unwinding? Is there anything that you're looking at specifically that says, hey, listen, this dollar's got to unwind? Is there anything in particular you're looking at?
Sure. I think the legacy FUBAR alone,
Mm-hmm.
right? In other words, Schwab was out today telling everybody that everything is all right. And we know that when everyone says everything all right, it's not.
Yeah.
There's the commercial real estate calamity waiting to happen. And there's no bid for our debt, right? Everyone's like, oh, the demise of the dollar is the world currency. If people are talking about that, that's been out in legacy for 2 years, but that means less demand for dollars and less demand for our debt. Yeah. So if there's a problem with our debt, say in October, God, I mean, that the dollar's going to get wrecked.
It'll
way
get
in advance.
Crushed.
Right. People are going to be like, I am exiting.
Yeah.
I am exiting. Right. And this is going to be propellant for crypto. Just that you have to do active portfolio management, taking into account that, like I've got some outside the box GAN work indicating that the Fed may mean business about just like methodically continuing to hike rates.
Yeah. As this plays out, I think the Fed has flip-flopped in terms of, saying they're going to do one thing, do something else, but he's been really, really, really like just firm in saying, we're not going to cut rates. And so I'll be interested to see if that's genuinely what happens. But if the opposite were to happen, and they can absolutely, because a lot of people, if you pull up the Fed watch tool, last I checked, it was like a 70%, I think, percentage chance that they thought that rates were going to pause, if I remember right. Or maybe it was this next one was going to be a hike and then pause from there. If that were to happen and the rates continue to go up, how bad would that be, do you think, for the setup that you're with the, possible boom in May, sell in May and walk away? Or would that play right into the hands of what you're talking about with the sell in May and walk away? If rate hikes continue, is that going to help or hurt that thesis?
Okay, rate hikes continuing hurts the thesis into the rate hike itself. Mm-hmm. So again, crypto, everybody sells everything in advance of the Fed. The Fed comes out and then everyone buys. Okay, the Fed, I think there's like a new thinking. My boss said this morning. The Fed doesn't care if they break things. They don't care. Like they break commercial real estate, they break stocks, even if they break the treasury market. I mean, Janet Yellen was out on the tape today complaining that, if the dollar loses reserve currency status, they may be in trouble. It's funny because the treasury is in charge of sanctions. The people in charge of weaponizing the dollar are worried about weaponizing the dollar. So the Fed doesn't care if they break things, right? Yeah. They want to break it because I guess they can come in and print later. But if, which to me sounds very dangerous and insane, but, dangerous and insane on legacy is good for crypto. Yeah.
So it could be a double-edged sword. Part of it could be great for part of your assets, and it could be terrible on the other end. I always thought it was interesting the way that things are set up in our economy. And then we are going to get into some alts, guys, but this overall macro information that we're going over is super important because everything else follows what we're going over. So if you haven't already, smash the like, make sure to do that. Make sure to follow Bill as well. I think it's interesting that we live in a world that for instance, the pharmaceutical companies profited more than ever off of a massive problem that was created. Whatever your thoughts on that are, I'm not going to dive into that. But all I'm saying is they profit tremendously off of that problem. massive defense contractors. What do when there's a war? Well, they massively benefit from this problem. And so we live in an economy where effectively they can serve the problem and serve the solution, and they profit, period. And so it's a scary proposition because effectively with the Fed, their solution is basically juggling interest rates, printing, interest rates, printing, interest rates, printing. And at some point, the ball drops. And I think that we're getting somewhere where there's not a ton more juggling that they're going to be able to do. Kind of backed ourselves into a corner. And so I'm just hoping that it does continue to bode well for crypto markets. I'm hoping that people can see that flocking over to a decentralized asset like Bitcoin as a real and viable option. So I just want people to continue to get educated, because I think too many times people aren't. They don't understand some of the information that we're talking about right now. So because they don't understand, dollar go down, even something as simple as dollar go down, Bitcoin go up. If they don't understand a simple idea like that, how can they forecast what they are believing is going to happen and then adjust their portfolios accordingly? So, crypto fam, pay attention to all the stuff going on in the background, because it's not background noise as much as it is sometimes an indicator for what you should be paying attention to, or for what you could be happening as we move forward. All right. So we're talking about the Fed. We can't have a crypto show without talking about the SEC. As always, we got to talk about the SEC. So let's start. I've got two things that I wanted to pull up with the SEC. Let's start off with, here we go. SEC charges Bittrex, former CEO, for operating unregistered securities exchange. There's a reason I'm pulling this one, folks, because there's some interesting names that come up in this. So it says the lawsuit also names 6 tokens as securities, including Algorand. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. So the SEC filed charges against Bittrex on Monday, saying they failed to comply with securities law by not registering the financial watchdog in several areas. The SEC's criminal complaint alleges the exchange failed to register as a broker-dealer, exchange, and clearing agency, taking in $1.3 billion with a B dollars in illicit revenue between 2017 and 2022. It says today's action yet again makes plain that crypto markets suffer from a lack of regulatory compliance, not a lack of regulatory clarity. This is obviously your boy SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. He says, today we're holding Bittrex accountable for his non-compliance. But people are pushing back. They're basically suggesting that that's Fugazi. That's BS, Gary. And, we're not going to allow you just to push people around in the crypto space. Talks about a bunch of the different assets. So some of them named, though, the 6 named: OMG, Dash, Algorand, Monolith, and Naga. I don't even know what NGC is. Oh, and then Real Estate Protocol. So what's this woman's name? Let me find. Oh, that's in the other article, I think. Yeah, it is. There is. Let me pull this other article real quick, because I'm making a little turn here. Where did it go? Here we go. There it is. Here we go. All right. So Representative Davidson to introduce legislation to fire SEC boss Ken Gensler for crypto overreach. So this congressman has declared he will introduce legislation to have Gary Gensler removed from his role. So in April 15th tweet responding to Coinbase legal chief, the crypto-friendly congressman announced his intention to have Gensler removed from his role after the SEC's latest announcement about revisiting the proposed redefinition of an exchange. His tweet says, to correct a long series of abuses, I'm introducing legislation that removes the chairman of the SEC and replaces his role with an executive director that reports to the board, where authority actually resides. Former chairs of the SEC are ineligible. It says, rather than embracing the promise of new technology as we've done in the past, here we propose to embrace stagnation, forced centralization, urge expatriation, and welcome extinction of new technology. This is Hester Pierce. So people are pushing back. They're basically saying, listen, you're not embracing new technology. You're pushing against it. And all you've been doing is expanding your reach to solve problems that don't exist. They're taking aim at stable coins. And basically some critics are arguing that they've been using enforcement to develop the law on a case-by-case basis rather than clear regulation. So here's my question, Bill. Sorry, I know that was a lot, guys. The facts are the SEC is doing, at least the way I see it. Maybe you see it differently, Bill. I don't know. I'm guessing you don't, but they want this as a case-by-case basis because it allows them to push their weight around. It allows them to pick and choose where and when to establish themselves. And it also allows them to leave this void in the crypto space, which is what they were talking about. They're saying, listen, we just really don't, Gary Gensler's trying to say, oh, this isn't about lack of clarity. It's not that at all. Yes, it is. If it's not about lack of clarity, why can't we just get some freaking clarity? Why are you willing to say this is security, this is security, this is security, not tell us why they're securities, individually start going after certain exchanges, but not others, give one person a pass, don't give the other. What is this going to do, Bill, for altcoins? Because I feel like it's going to push people away or force people to maybe second guess continuing to build on some of these networks if they think that they're going to end up getting in trouble. Algorand was the biggest market cap of those listed. Do you think that this is a real problem, or do you see this as the SEC just trying to, make some extra dollars here and there and push its weight around a little bit?
The SEC is picking on people that have small legal departments, it looks like, in crypto. Right. In other words, they could pick 5 coins from Coinbase's list and go after Coinbase, but, they'd run into a pretty hefty legal department there. It seems that, remember when the, New York AG's office sued Qcoin? They're just picking on the small guy.
Besides XRP.
That's right. That's right. Right. Because they picked on XRP, and that's not going to work out. It's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
They're behaving in a way that would suggest that they've lost that case.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Gensler also has to try to do something to slow down the perception of crypto in people's minds.
Yeah.
Right. He's trying to slow down alternative assets in general. So Financial Times, probably the most reputable newspaper in finance, U.S. regulators call for greater scrutiny of hedge funds after bond turmoil. So Clifford's telling us, yeah, it was definitely hedge funds who overstimulated the economy, were late to raise rates, and then raised them too quickly, and then failed to regulate an incompetent bank, and then bailed out its VC depositors.
So true.
Right? So, I mean, this unfortunately is the face of somebody who is in task with Mission Impossible. He has to tarnish crypto in the minds of the American public. So that's why, there's some BS enforcement lawsuit every week, because they want to slow people's perception down, because 40 million Fidelity customers can log in and press the green button and get long spot Bitcoin.
Yeah.
They can't transfer it out, but that's going to happen. And
that's money that he wants in the legacy markets.
Right. And it's money that the executive branch, right? The executive branch doesn't want to see 100K Bitcoin, because it's the whole world laughing in the face, essentially of the United States, of the Treasury and the Fed.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not going to go quietly into the night. Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm advocating active portfolio management, right? I think these guys are going to come in hard in June. Right. Either that, or you'll have a Fed scare, or both. Right. So Gensler is going to make all the noise he wants. At the end of the day, there's no law to enforce to try to prove every crypto is a security. I don't know. The judges are going to look at the SEC and go, okay, dude, well, you want me to enforce a law, and Congress hasn't passed a law, and you haven't passed regulation.
Yes. That's exactly it right there. We don't have anything to actually go off of. You want me to enforce something that's not even in place. You expect people to follow rules that are not even written down. How are we going to do this? I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. And so the sad thing for me in this bill is that I think it does stifle innovation. We've heard people talk about that before. I've talked about that before. I think I've heard you talk about that. But Gary Gensler, and here's the crappy part. He's not a stupid man, and he was, my understanding, is a blockchain professor at MIT. So he understands. So I think my problem is, I think that it's fun. I think that he is fundamentally effectively lying and pressing against probably a movement that he believes in. Like, I believe that if Gary Gensler was a blockchain technology professor at MIT, that he had to have some sort of love for or interest in blockchain to even get to the position to be able to do that. So then you take that person, introduce them into an arena that says, hey, listen, you've got to stop this right now. And so he's just fundamentally lying to people on a regular basis, trying to put this spotlight on crypto that it's this bad, nefarious thing, when I think he knows that it's not. I think he knows that it's the future. I think that all it is about is pumping the brakes. They know that the train's not going to stop, but they are pumping. How do we best put gates? How do we best put stops? Right? How do we just kind of slow this thing down because it's moving too fast and we weren't ready for it? And I think that's really what it comes down to. They just want to slow this down so they can position themselves to be able to do what? Well, financially profit first and foremost. And then number two, have full on control of your and I's money, which incomes Fed now, which, just the CBDCs and that whole action. They can say that crypto is this bad thing. And then at the same time, all these countries are effectively testing either a test bed or actually using crypto. And they're telling you how bad it is. And then they're going to say, hey, by the way, that awful thing, that blockchain technology that all you guys wanted to use, that terrible, terrible thing, we're going to be using that for our CBDC, and it's going to be fantastic. And let me tell you about all the reason that it's going to be great, and it's going to save you, and it's going to save you time. It's going to be so convenient, and they're literally going to sell the hell out of the technology that they are currently saying, don't do it. So smash the like if you are not a fan of Gary Gensler. We better have at least 62 likes in here because the man is lying to you, the American people. All right, so Bill, XRP. We were just talking about XRP. XRP, there's a bunch of whales that are scooping up some XRP. Millions of XRP grabbed by whales. Important XRP versus Bitcoin signal appears. I'm not going to dive deep into this, but it says that Crypto Tracker Whale Alerts reports that millions of XRP have been shifted to anonymous whale wallets in recent hours. Reported 2 large transactions wherein a large chunk of XRP, about 48.8 million tokens, was moved from exchanges to unknown wallets. Man, you know what, Bill? That's a few more XRP than I hold. Keeper likes to let people know he's got some XRP. It's a few more, just a few more than I hold. Do you believe when there's movement like this that because anybody, $12 million is a lot of money, tens of millions, I'm not saying that it's not. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people that have that kind of money. Do you think that movements like this are ever coincidental? It's just somebody that's got a lot of freaking money. They got a lot of XRP. They think the case is going to be over and boom. Or do you think normally, typically, because you've been in the other side of this world, you've been in the hedge fund side of things, you've seen the information that gets passed around, or are moves like this generally predicated by some information maybe that's out there in the black market, if you will?
Okay, good question. One thing I think that's happening in XRP, let's pull up a weekly chart, right? So these DeMark numbers, they'll go from 1 through 9. Change the way I explain this. So the first part of a trend, the numbers will go 1 through 9. XRP is currently out of 5. Normally you get dips in this 4 and 5 range, and then it's 6, 7, 8, 9 potentially. Now, the next resistance point in XRP is at 84 cents. Mm-hmm. If you have whales moving money around, that could mean something about the XRP case. That could just be whales moving money around to get attention because, on-chain data can easily be manipulated. So I think there's 2 points that are very interesting. One, XRP doesn't really have any resistance until 84 cents. 2, XRP is making kind of a flag here. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just kind of going sideways, right? And it's also above, right? It's sitting on that prior high. Sometimes I call this the bird on the wire getting ready to fly.
Okay.
Right. So until
you're saying it looks like it's setting up for possibly a move technically as well.
That's right. Somebody is trying to buy this dip. Now, somebody in the comments may have to correct me. This down move looks a little bit exhausted, but QNT in my head is like an XRP competitor, right? In the sense that it's like payment plumbing. And QNT has been getting smoked as the market has done better. So as QNT has gone down, right, XRP has gone up. This is a 4-hour chart. So there's QNT down. And here's XRP going up and going sideways. So maybe somebody is betting that, who knows, maybe it's CBDC payment plumbing in Latin America. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if XRP is holding and QNT is breaking, the Mr. Market may be making a move on what I would call payment plumbing. It's not sexy, but that's what XRP really is.
Payment plumbing. That's a great way to put it. And guys, just real quick, smash the like. Crusaders finally admitted it. He's the XRP whale pushing up the price. I knew it. Yeah, Bill, I've never looked at it that way, but I think that's so true. I could see that making a whole lot of sense. And so when I see these large numbers moved around, I always wonder, do they have the information? Do they not have the information? Is it just coincidental? Is it not? And you don't know, but I didn't think about the idea of, hey, everybody also knows this is on chain. So can we manipulate prices by pay a little bit of money? Because you already know as well as I do, we can get an article written. We just pay these, we can pay these companies, get an article written, whatever. You make a move, you have the article written, pumps up a few percent on 12 milli is a nice little day's worth of work. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why when they say to make money, you got to have money to make money or whatever, because I think that it just continues to, especially if you're smart about how you do it, give you the opportunity to continue to make. So Bill, let me ask you this, kind of closing out the show, and Crypto Fam, I apologize that we didn't dive deep into the annals of different altcoins today, but we needed to hit this broad spectrum overview of what's happening. So Bill, kind of rounding out the show today, what are you looking at to try to capitalize on altcoins? That is what people are showing up today for, obviously showing up just for a great show, but is there anything in particular that you're looking for as it relates to altcoins in general that you need to see to say, hey, let's take a ride?
Okay, well, Total 3 has to not crash.
Okay.
I know that sounds silly, but Total 3, which I was looking at earlier, Total 3 is total altcoin market cap. My theory was that altcoins can have these like 10-day spikes, and you should buy red. Right? So if Total 3, every time it goes up to this top, right, it's kind of faltered in this area, in this diagonal sort of range. Okay. This actually kind of draws it a little bit better. So has Total 3 broken out? Yes or no?
Right.
Okay. If Total 3 doesn't get slammed and goes into a range, that's good for altcoins. Okay. I also think how Solana and Avalanche perform will be key. Now, if you want to talk the S-coin universe, the one that everybody's looking at is an AI-based coin, Crypto GPT.
Okay.
This is not investment advice at all. Okay. But the 62% retracement at 0.067 is key. So if this is, it's basically ties in crypto AI, where you kind of get paid for the usage of the data, or so they say. Obviously it looks like smart insiders maybe are selling every rally, but you want to be able to see people buy dips and make money, whether it's small coins or big coins. In other words, you don't want to pay up, right? So I want to pull up, say, like Solana. I want to pull up something crazy. I want to pull up Solana versus Bitcoin.
Okay.
Right. So when you have Solana versus Bitcoin and you look at this on a weekly basis, right? You see on a DeMark chart, a very clean and very clear, you have a 13 and a 9 bottom on the same candle. And Solana actually outperformed Bitcoin last week.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Solana because of the phone and Avalanche because of the possibility for security tokens are
Yeah.
going to be the two coins that you watch versus Bitcoin, along with things like GPT, like whatever the hot altcoin is. That's kind of the AI indicator for me,
Yeah.
right? That's how I would do altcoins. Generally speaking, I think everyone's looking for alt season. Everybody's looking for 2021 to come back. I don't see that. I see you having these like 3 to 10 day spikes where altcoins just smoke higher versus Bitcoin.
Which is hard to predict, which then takes you back to the thesis that Crusader and I talk about all the time about stacking in projects that you genuinely believe in, and then maybe those are something that you play with, on the side. Continue to stack your ETH, continue to stack your Bitcoin, and maybe even continue to stack some of these lower cap alts that you genuinely believe in what's happening with the project, because that's hard, Bill. Like, I've been in crypto long enough to know those short-term breakouts that make no sense whatsoever, and they absolutely rip and then dip and then rip and then dip. It's hard to catch. It's really hard to catch. So, yeah, I guess I just want to throw out there that I think this is still going to be, this next run is going to be this utility run, and maybe maybe you got some utility behind some of those alts. Did you want to pull something else up, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, this is the token of who I work for. This is GLDN. I own this token.
Yeah.
Okay. And, the token rocketed higher, then it's corrected. So let me just make a point about alts and tax selling or tax loss selling, right? People got to pay people got to pay their taxes. So I know we got to do a show, but I don't know that you read a whole lot into what happens today or the next 2 days when people got to sell and pay taxes. There's today, and then people got to pay taxes in Canada at the end of the month.
Right.
So, GLDN went up, and then people are selling to pay taxes. And, we're basically telling our people, and, it's the same thing with Solana on the weekly chart. In other words, if people are selling today, I don't think you read too much into it because it's tax loss selling.
Yeah.
Or it's people selling to pay taxes.
Yeah. The reality is you have to do your taxes, Crypto Fam. We're actually sponsored by Price CPA. Anthony's been great. If you guys haven't done your taxes yet, make sure you do them. Anthony is a genius in the crypto space. He helped Crusader and I a bunch. Listen, it's not that hard to get an extension either. Most of you probably didn't earn the kind of income that is going to be some massive problem for being late. You might have a little bit of a fine, whatever the case may be. But don't just put it off just because you're scared or whatever. Get somebody that understands how to do it. Make sure to link up with him. We've got a link down below the stream for that. All right, Bill, I have actually a hard stop. I got to take my daughter to swim lessons, so I got to jump off here. But as always, brother, I appreciate you for dropping knowledge to all of the people. I look forward to you. Going to be on Thursday?
Yes, I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, so Crypto Fam, as always, TA Thursday around the charts. We'll have a fantastic panel. I don't know offhand who's going to be there, but there's going to be a great panel of people as always on Thursday. Bill will be one of them, so stick around for that. If you haven't smashed the like, smash that like. Crypto Fam, we love you, each and every one of you. Just remember to question everything, trust nothing, and until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon. Thanks again, Bill.